So I'm super excited. I'm here with my dear friend and client, Leah, who is the founder of Gibson Goddess. I'm super excited to share her journey with you and what she's been up to and her journey through Monetize Your Passion, what Gibson Goddess is all about, and what she has really formulated through this process. Because when Leah came to me, she thought she was just a photographer. And what she's discovered through the duration of going through Monetize Your Passion, that she's actually so much more. And I'd love to share a little bit about, her journey and where she got started, and even to kind of scale it back to before she even kind of dove in where she was. So welcome, Leah. I'm so excited that you're here.
Yay, thank you. So yeah, where do you want me to begin? You should scale it back to before when?
Yeah, before when? So when I first met you, you were working in a job
Yes.
and you were working your 9 to 5 and you were a photographer.
Yeah,
And you knew that there was like something more that was calling forward in you. So can you share a little bit about what that moment was like for you?
definitely. So I was working for someone else, and
Mm.
I was really good at driving somebody else's vision and like
Mm.
driving it really well and being a really great employee and being like the best employee, VIP, working there for 8 years, and like kind of carving my way through and like and having my voice inside of someone else's voice.
Right.
But as I started expanding and discovering what I love, and as I started having a couple of friends who were like, "Hey, you're a photographer, and even though you specialize in babies, I would love my portrait taken." And I started photographing some of my female friends, and I fell in love with being a woman through photographing women.
Mm.
And I fell in love with making women feel beautiful. And I've had a couple of like heavier set friends that I was just like falling in love with their bodies and like watching
Yeah.
them fall in love with their bodies. And like it was so beautiful. And I started to get more and more clear that there was something else for me to do. And then I was still stuck in this 9 to 5, like doing somebody else's thing, and like trying, like continuing to force myself to keep falling in love with it, which I did.
Right.
But it was just, the more I kept forcing that, the further I was getting like disconnected from what I truly wanted. So it was about 3 years of this like internal battle going on of, do I stay with this thing that I'm making good money and like I get to be creative and I get to do most of what I want to do, or do I
Right.
take the risk and put in my notice and reach out? And everything just started to, as soon as I made that decision of like, I need to give my notice, I need to complete this
Yeah.
job, and I need to start my own thing. I have a 6 month notice. And then about 3 months into that 6 month notice, I got linked up with you. I got linked up with Leah and Bucky. And that was the best decision, because I was like, all right, well, I know I want to continue being a photographer and I want to photograph women. And I knew I was probably just going to copy and paste what my boss had been doing and what was effective for her on
Right.
my own business model, um,
Right.
which would have been, however successful to the degree that it was, but it was still running somebody else's vision forward in a way, just with my
Right.
photos. So going through Monetize Your Passion and really doing like the deep dive into like, who am I and what do I stand for? What do I care about? What's authentic to me? That was the most beautiful experience, because I I knew I wanted to do something that was authentic to me. And
Mm.
I've been knowing that, and I just didn't quite know what that was. So through Monetize Your Passion, I've gotten to create a structure where it's not just, oh, I photograph women and that's X amount
Right.
of dollars, but it's an entire experience. And it's not just like a 1 hour photo shoot. It's several weeks of getting related with someone and getting to know someone and having them getting to know themselves through the process. And I mean, you may have a breakthrough and falling in love with yourself in an hour in a photo shoot, and maybe, 15-minute phone call a week before, but inside of creating an 11-week program where like we go deep into what is a woman, what is a goddess, what like how do you connect to yourself and like love yourself. And it's still in formulation what's being created. I'm actually working on a little bit of it today.
Yeah.
But I'm so excited for even just like what's starting to bloom and what's now possible for women inside of my craft.
It's so beautiful because I think you're being a little bit modest too, because when I saw you make the shift, there was a moment in the program that you made a shift and just turned it on. And all of a sudden it's like, and this is what people sometimes don't understand in entrepreneurship, is it's a deep dive into what are you really here for? Because the truth of it is you can create anything and monetize anything. But what is it that you actually want to be doing? So you're not always seeking for the next best thing. And from my experience with you is you went for it. You did the deep dive. You said like, what is it that I'm really here for it? Behind the camera, what is it that I actually do? What type of transformation am I actually getting for women? And the moment that you cracked that, you were booking shoots, you had clients reaching out, you started to share your message and your story and you're booking calls, and all of a sudden you got all these shoots lined up. And here you were just 8 weeks ago in your job. And now you're this entrepreneur who has clients and is doing the work that you love and is making money and doing all the things, but you're doing it in a way that's so aligned with what you actually want. And it doesn't mean that you didn't like what you did before. You just knew that there was a higher calling to what you did.
Yeah.
And what we've kind of discovered with Gibson Goddess is like you're awakening the goddess within for a woman to get in touch with their sensuality, their sexuality, their playfulness, and all of those emotions that we don't sometimes feel or suppress or don't allow ourselves to express in the way that we need to. And the beautiful thing is you provide such an amazing gift to these women, and then you provide an awesome outcome with also a photo shoot. So it's been beautiful to watch this magical thing unfold. Because I think, what would you say to somebody that's on the other end that's thinking like, I just have this heart-centered gift that I know that I want to share, and I just don't know if it's going to be the right fit. Maybe they're a healer, maybe they're in health and wellness, maybe they just have this, I just want to make lives better. What would you tell them?
Wow. Well, I'd send them to you. And I've had a number of people in my community that
right.
that have that commitment. Like my community is in the field of transformation and making a difference on this planet.
Yeah.
Everyone I know is up for that game. And I see people doing what I was doing, just like living paycheck to paycheck and working 9 to 5 and doing somebody else's shtick, you know? And what I would say is like you don't have to struggle. Right. And it's so worth the investment just to get clear on what it is you do and what it is you want. Mm-hmm. And the structure with the different exercises and the modules and the process of this program, it's so brilliantly helps you pull apart and then put together. It's almost like it just brings you back to the basics of like, who am I and what do I want? Like very, very simple, but it's almost like there's this undoing of what you think you should be doing. It's just like
yes.
the basics, like starting from nothing instead of like starting from what you think you should be doing and then building on top of that and like putting, what's it say, like putting whipped cream on a mud pie.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
like, well, we're going to go and we're going to like make a crust and then we're going to like, now we're going to like build the pie, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good analogy, but
I think it's perfect because it's so true. And I think that honestly, so many people think that they need to do a certain thing because they've seen somebody else be successful in it. Mm-hmm. And when you came in, you were, you know, working a 9 to 5 job. You knew that photography was a part of it, but your other side of deep transformation and awakening and coaching with women was also a part of it. And you weren't quite sure, like, how do I mash these creative, artistic, transformational art forms together?
Yeah.
Because underneath it, it's healing, it's transformative, it's awakening, it's life coaching, and a photographer.
Mm-hmm.
So finding how to actually bring those together in a way that's actually going to allow you to build a sustainable business while doing the work that you love and transforming other women's lives, I think is a beautiful example of what you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I had no idea that that this is what was going to come of this. I thought
Yeah.
I was going to maybe learn some like marketing tricks for
Right.
business for a photo shoot, you know.
Right.
But it's been so fulfilling to see that I can have an art and a craft and then make it so completely uniquely mine and
Yeah.
monetize it. Like that's hot. Even, you know, I'm so like my mental space is so in the or was so in the world of like, this is how photographers do things. And
Right.
separate myself from like even that label. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, I have photography as an art and as a craft. And that's not like my direct competition even. Like
Right.
there is, what I'm present to is that there isn't competition when everyone's creating something that's so uniquely theirs.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah. Like, and I have it that like everyone who's drawn to me are so authentically mine, you know?
Yeah. So it's beautiful that you said that everybody that's drawn to me is like authentically drawn to me for a reason, and they're your clients, they're your ideal clients. So the whole process has really allowed you to step into your fullest expression of who you are, which also illuminates to the people that you're meant to serve,
Yeah.
and it allows them to find you. So it's definitely obviously strategic, but the biggest thing throughout this process is it also awakens you to who you are and what you're meant to do and who you're meant to serve. And don't get me wrong, the strategies are there clearly, but the process is different. So what would you say to somebody that's kind of on the fence, like, I don't know if this is going to be right for me? What would you say to somebody who's kind of like on the fence? Maybe I should do it. Maybe I should book a call with them. Maybe I shouldn't. What would you say?
Well, I would say definitely book a call, because you don't know what you don't know until you at least have a conversation.
Yeah.
Um, and you know, you just be open to discovering something on that call. For me, this was incredibly valuable, and for everyone I've seen in the program, it's been so incredibly valuable. And like, it's not just like hiring a business coach, which is what I thought I was
Right.
doing,
Right.
which I was, and it's so deeply transformative, like to the core.
Right.
Oh man, it's the kind of business coach you want to hire, because it's not just tips and tricks. It's like there's a deep soul connection, and like to ourselves, and then also
Yeah.
to you as our coaches. It's just been like, I really got that you have my back. Like I really got that you want me to win. It's not like, you know, I was on like a free webinar the other day from this photographer who's really successful with marketing and all this. I'm like, okay, I'm going to jump on this free 12-hour webinar. I was so bored.
Right.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I was so bored. And, you know, there were like 500 people on her call who are going to be jumping into her or however many are going to be jumping into her program. She's like a famous photographer. And I just thought like they don't have direct access to her. If there's
Yeah.
500 people in a, you know, marketing course, like I feel so personally connected to you and Bucky, and like I really feel a sense of like, I don't know, like you guys, you've got me. Like you got me.
Thank you for sharing, Leah. You've been such a blessing to work with. You're such a dear friend. I love seeing the transformation and all the lives that you're touching because you stepped into this work. I think sometimes we get so caught up in like the fear of like, what's it going to be like for me? Is it actually going to work for me? Is this the right time? Can I actually choose the investment? And all of these fears bubble up. And then when we actually choose to just say, let me be open and see what's there, because sometimes it's not, but sometimes it is. And then you get to go through the process that you went through, and to see you now, 8 weeks later, working with clients, working with all these women, booking all these, your own clients, booking all these shoots, like having to cancel meetings with me because you're booked and busy. So, which is so amazing. That's what I know. Like, my clients are having to reschedule with me because they have their thing going on, which is so exciting for me, because it just shows me that you're stepping into your highest truth, the work that you're here to do, and you're getting real results. It's not just this deep dive in soulful transformation. Don't get me wrong, that's the core of it. And it's actually producing outcomes and results for you in your life and in your business, in your relationships. And that's really what we're here for. So if there's anything else you want to share, feel free. If not, we'll wrap.
Yeah. I think the last thing for me is just like, what I would want to leave anyone with is, if you know you're in a place where it's like time to take a leap of faith, just do it. Take the leap. And like, you can feel it. When it's time to jump.
I hear you on that. I hear you. Well, thank you so much, Leah. You're such an amazing friend. You've been such a blessing to work with and nurture through this process. And I love what you're doing and what you're creating. So thank you for sharing your journey. We really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. I couldn't have done it without you guys. You guys are amazing. I love you.
Love you too.